Hey everyone, we are back with another solo run in Pokemon Red. Last week we did Venusaur, we've already done Charizard a while ago, and now today we are doing Blastoise. So let's get straight into the run, shall we? You probably wouldn't be surprised by this, but the first rival battle is just completely easy, not because we're a fully evolved Blastoise, but also because we always face the Charmander team every time. So there's no news right there, but I figured while we go from Route 1 to Viridian and do the Professor Oak parcel stuff, why don't we talk about exactly what kind of Pokemon Blastoise is. In terms of base stats, we have 79 HP, 83 attack, 100 defense, 85 special, and 78 speed. So technically we're a balanced attacker, we're not that fast, but we do have pretty decent defense, so hopefully that pays off in the long run. We start off with the moves Bubble, Tackle, Tail Whip, and Water Gun, and then through level up we get Bite at level 24, then Withdraw at 31, Skull Bash at 42, which is an awful move, and level 52 we get Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump is generally a good move, but in comparison to Surf, it's not even close. But we also need to take a look at our TM learn set too. The notable moves I see are Mega Punch, Body Slam, Bubble Beam, Ice Beam, Blizzard, Submission, Earthquake, Fissure, and Dig, along with Mimic, Reflect, Skull Bash, and Rest. So at least we get pretty decent coverage with Ground, Water, and Ice, but other than that, we don't really get much else. Body Slam will definitely help in the early game though. In Viridian Forest, I pretty much just skip all the trainers and go straight to the mandatory Bug Catcher. I'm able to 3-shot his Weedle, then go from level 6 to level 8, and then before taking on Brock, just because his Pokemon will be a series of one-shots, I take out the Light Years Junior trainer as well, and now let's get to Brock. No intro needed because like Venusaur, all of his Pokemon will be a series of one-shots. Unlike Venusaur, which we did last week, Blastoise will have a much better time on the Nugget Bridge routes and the early game routes in general, because we have way more moves to work with. Venusaur only had Tackle and Vine Whip, while we get Water Gun, Bubble, and Tackle. So we're gonna pretty much have a lot of moves to work with. I go in the grass here and catch a Pidgey for my Fly user. The disadvantage of catching a Pidgey over a Spearow is if I don't find a Paris in Mount Moon, I can't just trade a Spearow for a Farfetch'd to learn Cut and Fly, so hopefully we find a Paris. Thankfully I do, and I catch it very easily. And then, while going through Mount Moon, I go down this ladder right here to get the TM for Mega Punch and teach it over Tackle. Having Water Gun and Mega Punch will be all the coverage I need. Plus, while I'm going through here, if I happen to find a wild Geodude, I'll just knock it out with one Water Gun for the very easy experience. Plus, I also do fight the Hiker here with 2 Geodude and Onix. If you have a Water or Grass type move, he's pretty much free XP. The Super Nerd and the Rocket Grunt at the end don't serve a threat, and now we are at Cerulean City. At this point, we gotta ask ourselves, should we do Rival 2 or Misty? And it may not seem like it, but I will be going for Misty. I do have Mega Punch for her, so let's get into the fight. She leads off with Staryu, and the main reason I wanted to do Misty first is because due to her good AI, she will never use a water move on me, and her Starmie will be a 3-shot with Mega Punch. I did this just so I can get the TM for Bubble Beam. Having Bubble Beam will make almost everything on Nugget Bridge a series of one-shots. So now I can get this rare candy, and now to Rival 2. Unfortunately, I forgot to teach Bubble Beam here. The Pidgeotto lives in red health, and I got hit with 3 sand attacks, and now I'm in red health, and I'm dead. On the next attempt, I take it out with 2 Water Guns, not getting a single sand attack, and then I just Mega Punch his next 2 Pokemon, and then Water Gun the Charmander. I really should have taught Bubble Beam right now, but I just forget for a while. Anyway, just as I predicted and said earlier, the Nugget Bridge trainers do not serve a threat at all. And funnily enough, I actually get some good timing. As soon as I defeat the Hiker that guards the Elixir on this route, I learn Bite by level up, which I teach over Bubble because Bubble's just straight up useless. And now after this, I only have 6 Water Guns left. But now, I can teach Water Gun over Bubble Beam, and look, I get all my power points back. So that is very efficient planning on my end. Although I probably should have stuck to teaching Bubble Beam earlier though, that's just my opinion. I then rescue Bill, defeat this Rocket Grunt, and get the TM for Dig, which I teach to Blastoise in the place of Tail Whip. Dig will really help make Surge a lot easier too, plus it's extra coverage too. And now, with Dig on my moveset, I arrive in Vermilion City. I enter the mart, sell my nugget and some other stuff, and I can buy some super potions and repels. I also take out this one youngster right here to get the TM for Body Slam. I will be teaching this over Mega Punch, and it's pretty convenient timing. I am all out of Mega Punches. Man, even though this was my first run with Blastoise, this PP routing has been very nice. And now, thanks to both Body Slam and Bubble Beam, Rival 3 is an absolute joke. So why don't we go ahead straight to Lieutenant Surge. He does have a type advantage over me. That should give him the chance to do better. Let's see. He leads off with a Voltorb, I outspeed and go for Dig, and he uses an X-Speed while I'm underground, so that was kind of pointless. And then on the Raichu, it is also a one-shot with Dig. So, yeah, series of one-shots. I then get the bike voucher from the guy in the fan club, and then I go back in after realizing I can dig back to Cerulean from here, and then I can actually get the bike, throw away the TM for Thunderbolt, which puts my cursor back in slot 1, which is where my bike is. That's just some overworld routing I like to do. I'll take whatever's in slot 1, switch it with the bike, and Thunderbolt's down there. Either I teach it, or I get rid of it. Either way though, it puts my cursor back at the bike position, so that's just a little neat time save I thought I'd show off. And now next up is all the trainers on Route 9 and Rock Tunnel. Although one bug catcher does poison me and I only take a little bit of damage, the rest of the trainers here go very easily and we can head our way to Celadon City. In the department store, I go ahead and buy one Pokédoll, so I will not be needing Mimic today. I get 2 fresh waters to exchange one of them for Ice Beam, and today's vitamin of the day is calcium. I pretty much just wanted calcium because Carbos really is not going to help with my speed problems. Like, the fastest things in the game are just going to straight up outspeed no matter what at this low of a speed, so I figured the calcium to boost my special will be okay. I then go into the Fly House, teach Fly to Pidgey, teach Ice Beam over Body Slam, which is definitely an interesting choice at the time, but I really wanted to hold on to Withdraw and Dig, obviously. And then I show up to Rival 4, completely destroy his ass, and then I can make my way up Pokemon Tower, and eventually rescue Mr. Fuji and get the Poke Flute. The first thing I do is go wake up the Snorlax and enter Cycling Road. I go on this little area right here and I get the rare candy, I enter the Safari Zone, get the bare minimum required number of stuff, and I get the HM for Surf. I go ahead and use the protein and Carbos that I picked up in here, and then I used Blastoise to dig out of the Safari Zone, teach Surf over Bubble Beam, and now I can either do Erica, Koga, or Rival 5, and I choose to do Erica first because I think Ice Beam will be a series of one-shots. Let's see if I am right. And I can straight up tell you I am wrong. The Victory Bell actually lives in Ice Beam, and I get knocked out in 2 Razor Leafs. Oh well, let me try again. I really should not be, but let's see how it goes. I do an Ice Beam, it misses Sleep Powder, I defeat the Tangela in 1 hit, and then the Ice Beam leaves the Vileplume at red health, but thankfully it just uses Petal Dance. So I think in the next run, I should probably delay her till later. Oh well, that's not a big deal. And now with the Rainbow Badge, I can now go take on Koga. The main plan was to spam Dig on his Pokemon, but when I saw that Coughing tanked a Dig, I decided to just spam Surf and maybe use some Digs here and there. Although I will mention, I did fight some trainers before Koga, mainly just because their Arbok and Sandslashes are very good XP. Plus, thankfully, on the Weezing, I dug underground and it did a turn 1 self-destruct and I won. That was pretty much the plan I was going for. I then go in the Warden's house and get the HM for Strength. I can't get the Boulder Candy here because I don't have a Lapras for Strength, but I'm pretty sure I won't need that rare candy anyway, I'll just skip it. And then I can go through Silph Co, I get the card key, and then I go down to the 3rd floor, get this Hyper Potion, and I decide to fight this Scientist right nearby. I noticed I was level 39. I want to try and get level 40 to get over a damage rounding threshold, so I go on this teleporter right here, and then I fight this one Rocket Grunt with some weak Pokemon. That's not enough, but that's fine though, because going this way gives me access to the heal beds. And I go back to the 3rd floor and I fight this guy. He has Eradicate, Hypno, and Eradicate. Scott's Thoughts likes to call this guy the Hypno Sandwich, but I'll just call him the Rocket Grunt with a Hypno. And then I go up to the 10th floor, defeat this Machoke right here, and then I can get the Carbos, Rare Candy, and the TM for Earthquake. I'm not going to teach Earthquake right now, because I still want Dig to dig out of some places. But I'm still going around getting items. I go to the 7th floor, defeat another scientist and get a Calcium, which may have been a waste of time. Oh well, why don't we go take on Rival 5 now. He leads off with his Pidgeot. It is almost a one-shot with Ice Beam, but not quite. But the Execute will definitely get one-shot with Ice Beam, although I misclick and I go for Surf. I don't know what I was thinking. I am definitely losing. Yep. Also, I did want to mention the fastest thing on his team is that his Alakazam has 96 speed, and due to Koga's badge boost, I do outspeed it by default, which is why I wanted to do Koga first. I make it back to the Gyarados, do a series of Ice Beams, and then I go ahead and use Dig on the Alakazam. Oh wait, Alakazam has 94 speed. Never mind. And then the Charizard is a one-shot. Since Giovanni's never hard, I want to take this time and answer a question. Why do you always face the Fire team? Well, it started in Generation 1. Like, here's the thing. Like, the rival can have 2 different Grass start Pokemon, 2 different Fire, 2 different Water. His Grass Pokemon are either Venusaur or Exeggutor. His Exeggutor is infinitely more annoying than Venusaur. And now when it comes between Charizard and Arcanine, they're both bad, but the Arcanine is worse, because in the champion fight, the thing's only attacking moves are Ember and Takedown. At least the Charizard has Fire Blast and Rage and Slash. And then for water types, it's either Gyarados or Blastoise. The Gyarados is more threatening early on, so that's why I decided to do it. Anyway, it looks like we're at Sabrina now. Unfortunately, I couldn't outspeed her first Kadabra, but luckily it missed its move, and I'm able to knock it out. Unfortunately, the Venomoth tanks a hit, and then it uses Stun Spore, but fortunately I just spam Dig, and I am able to one-shot it, so that's good. So now at this point, we go take a visit to Mom, get a nice little heal. I accidentally fly to Pallet Town again instead of surfing, and now I can go on a brief swim to Cinnabar Island. There are a couple of things I want here. There are 2 rare candies and a Carbos. If I want to, I could also get the TM for Blizzard. I go ahead and pick it up in this run just in case I need it, but I don't really like relying on this move, although I will mention I am starting to like the move a bit more now because sometimes the extra damage output may avoid you having to grind an extra couple of levels, but I don't think I end up using it in this run. Anyway, why don't we go take on Blaine? Red and Blue Blaine is pretty much one of the most pathetic gym leaders of all time. I go ahead and use Surf on his Growlithe for a one-shot. I one-shot the Ponyta, one-shot the Rapidash, get to level 45, and I almost one-shot the Arcanine, but the Arcanine is pretty high special anyway. So now I can dig out of his gym, and now I can teach Earthquake over Dig. Blaine's gym is the last spot I ever need to dig out of, so that is when I like to teach Earthquake. You don't want to hold on to Dig in Victory Road, because if you get into an encounter and all your cursors go back to the top of your menu, you could theoretically accidentally dig out of Victory Road if your main Pokemon has it. So it's good to get rid of it if you can. Anyway, let us now take on Giovanni. His Rhyhorn's a one-shot, his Dugtrio's a one-shot. Surprisingly, the Nidoqueen lived. The Nidoking gets knocked out with a crit, and then the Rhydon lives because I was spamming Ice Beam instead of Surf. The reason I switched over to Ice Beam is because I don't have many Surfs left, and I want to take on the rival without needing a heal at the center. So let's go straight to Rival 6. His Pidgeot is really bad here because it no longer has Sand Attack at this point, so I knock it out with Ice Beam, and I knock out the Rhyhorn and the Execute. Now on the Gyarados, I use the remainder of my Ice Beams on it, but I run out. So now what I'm trying to do is with the combination of Withdraw and Leer, I could set up my badge boosts pretty much indefinitely, but once I defeat it, the Alakazam and the Charizard are one-shots. This was the reason I wanted to keep Withdraw, because I know on the champion fight, the Gyarados' good AI will never use Hydro Pump, it will only use Leer, Hyper Beam, or Dragon Rage. So if it has a 1 in 3 chance of using Leer and I withdraw, you can actually infinitely badge boost, or just until you get to +6. In Victory Road, I don't take on any optional trainers, I don't even get the extra rare candy there. I just beeline straight for the Pokemon League. I heal at the center, buy some full restores, and then I go ahead and use a bunch of rare candies since I predict Lorelei might be hard. I only candy up to level 53, and now I can take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. She leads off with a Dewgong. I go ahead and start setting up one withdraw, and I decide to use Earthquake on it so that way it gets put to sleep. Due to her good AI, she will not use Aurora Beam, but she can use Growl. I do not want it to use Growl. Thankfully, it just uses Takedown, and I get it down to yellow health. It uses another Takedown, and I knock out the Dewgong. 1 down, 4 to go. I use Surf to 2-shot the Cloyster, but thankfully the worst Cloyster can do is just Supersonic. And now we are at the Slowbro. I go ahead and use an Earthquake. It unfortunately hits me with a Growl, so that's really bad. Now I pretty much have to rely on my special. I use Surf on the Jinx, and it one-shots despite its high special. Now I'm on the Lapras. I use the Earthquake for some chip damage. I get hit with Confuse Ray. Surf does around a quarter. I decide to just keep spamming Surf. She uses a Super Potion. Not once, but twice. And then I am able to knock out Lorelei. I think in the next run I should probably use a few extra rare candies, but oh well. And then there's this one guy in here. Some people call him Bruno, some people call him the Hiker. It just depends on the day. But I feel like today, he's just a hiker. Alright, let's move on. Next up is Agatha. The main plan is just to sweep with Earthquake because her ghosts have very low defense, and it'd just be better than Surf. It's not like it matters though, I'm out of Surfs. I was trying to save on elixirs. But anyway, I Surf what I can Earthquake, and I Earthquake what I can Earthquake. And the whole fight is just very, very easy. Although her ace Gengar does hit me with Toxic, but it's not like that can really do anything. Now we are heading to Lance. I use all but one of my rare candies to get to level 60, because I want to have a rare candy for the champion fight to avoid a mid-battle level up. Let's see how this fight goes. On the Gyarados, in combination with Withdraw and Leer, you can see like my badge boosts are infinitely being reapplied. I pretty much just set up as many withdraws as I can, although if I get hit with too many Dragon Rages, I will just straight up go for the sweep. But once I get to +4 in defense, I decide now's the time. Check it out, 637 attack and a 654 special stat. Man, Ice Beam is just going to completely destroy everything, especially with my speed. Look at this thing. I'm like 3 times faster than an Electrode. Oh well, I get to level 61 after Lance, and now I can use 1 rare candy to get to level 62, and now let us fight the champion. The Pidgeot here also kinda sucks because it still does not have Sand Attack, although depending on the move it can troll with Mirror Move, but it doesn't matter, I one-shot it with Ice Beam. Then the Alakazam is a 2-shot with Earthquake, but thankfully it's 1 turn to attack, it just uses Recover. Now for the Rhydon. I go ahead and try and set up infinite badge boosts, mainly to deal with the Exeggutor and the Gyarados. I don't want to spend too much time on them. This Rhydon has both Tail Whip and Leer, so it'll have a 50% chance of lowering my defense, which I can use to just infinitely set up badge boosts. Although it does try to stall quite a bit with Fury Attack, its only attacking move. Once I get to +6, I use a 672 special stat, stab 4 times super effective Surf for the one-shot, I one-shot Exeggutor with Ice Beam, one-shot the Gyarados with Ice Beam, I level up to 63, but that does not matter at all. I'm still outspeeding the Charizard, and the Charizard is down and I win. Blastoise gets a real time of 52 minutes and 36 seconds, with 3 resets at level 63 and a game time at the Hall of Fame of 2 hours and 32 minutes. This was a very, very good first playthrough. It definitely went way better than Venusaur's did. Honestly, I'm not even sure what I can improve in the second run, besides using more rare candies for Lorelei, but why don't we go straight into the second playthrough and see what happens. Oh guys, when I was doing my voiceover for the second playthrough, I just realized, you see how the outline is blue? See how my overlay is blue? This is my overlay used for Pokemon Blue. This was in Pokemon Red. Oops. Anyway, it's not like it even matters too much, they're mostly the same game. I can just straight up say that the whole Brock splint went exactly the same as last time. In Mount Moon, I do find a Paris, so I don't have to worry about trading for a Farfetch'd or anything. I do Misty over Rival 2, first try her, and then I have Bubble Beam and Mega Punch for all of Nugget Bridge. And now I can head all the way to the SS Sand. I get Body Slam and I teach it over Mega Punch, get the Gentleman Rare Candy right here, and then I can completely destroy Rival 3 and Lieutenant Surge. Man, we are just completely destroying our old time right now, but I think in the last run, I don't think I had 0 resets. Oh yeah, I remember in the first run, I did have at least 1 reset on the Rival 2 fight with that Pidgeotto, so I am definitely doing better than the last run, which is really good. I make it to Celadon City, buy the same stuff in the department store as last time, including Ice Beam, and I can get rid of Rival 4, and then go through all of Pokemon Tower and rescue Mr. Fuji. And then I can go through the Safari Zone, teach Surf over Bubble Beam, and there is one thing I am doing different. I'm not doing Erica first because she proved to be quite a problem. So what I do, I actually do Koga first. I wanted to do Rival 5 first, but without the 12.5% badge boost from Koga's badge for speed, I'm not going to be able to outspeed his Alakazam and potentially get hit with a very powerful Psybeam. So I want to make sure I get this badge first. I defeat most of the gym trainers in his gym for the extra experience, and then on Koga, I just completely destroy his team with Surf and Dig. So in Silph Co, as you can see when I fight this Arbok guy, I am at 94 speed. This is exactly speed tied with the Alakazam, so I'm going to want at least level 39. I just go around the place collecting some vitamins, fighting some trainers. I still want to get to level 40 for damage rounding, so as soon as I do that, I go to Rival 5, one-shot his Pidgeot, his Execute, 3-shot the Gyarados. I even get a Clutch Freeze on it, nice. And then I use Dig on the Alakazam, and then I Surf the Charizard for a 2-hit. And then with Giovanni defeated, I go to the 10th floor to get Earthquake for later, and I did have a bit of problems with Sabrina last time, but thankfully I don't have any problems leading up to the Venomoth, because the Venomoth does paralyze me again, and I get killed with a crit Psychic, and as you can see, I'm rewinding here. I was so confident in my abilities to defeat her, I actually didn't save. So what I did was I rewinded to the start of the fight, saved the game, and counted it as a reset. So we're just going to pretend I saved. Otherwise, I would have had to go all the way back to Rival 5 or something. I am not doing that, sorry. On the next try though, I do defeat her. So now let us go take on Blaine. As you can see, I haven't even fought Erica yet. She's pretty much the hardest gym leader that Blastoise had to go through besides the unlucky fight with Sabrina. And then when I'm going into Blaine, as you can see I have Earthquake on my moveset. This is actually a mistake. I should not have taught over Dig right here. I should have waited until I was done with Blaine first. Because now without Dig, I will have to walk out of the gym. So that is a slight time loss, but it's not like it even matters too much. And now with Blaine defeated, I can one-shot all of Erica's Pokemon with Ice Beam, and then I can one-shot everything on Giovanni's team with Surf. Alright, Rival 6 time. I am level 47 for this fight. The Ice Beam 2-shots the Pidgeot. I defeat the Rhyhorn and the Execute, obviously. I am now level 48, and I actually get a first try freeze on the Gyarados. But unfortunately, I realized I kinda have a speed issue with Alakazam, so that's another reset. Okay, I see what I did wrong here. I was supposed to try and set up some badge boost on the Gyarados, and unfortunately, on the next attempt, the Gyarados just knocks me out. So what I end up doing is I use a few rare candies to get to level 50. And now that I'm at level 50, things completely go my way. I make it through Victory Road. I did have to fight one optional trainer by accident, but it's not a big deal. And then I use rare candies to get to level 53. I go ahead and try and use an Ice Beam to get the Lorelei's Dewgong to use Rest, so that way I can set up my withdraws with more ease. But unfortunately, it keeps landing growls on me. So I just put it to sleep, and then I'm gonna try my best to sweep, although I keep getting hit with so many growls. So I guess it looks like I'm gonna have to go on the special offensive, which is not a good thing because the Slowbro has amnesia. My plan is pretty much to just switch on over to Ice Beam so I can save my Surfs, and thankfully she never decides to use a Super Potion. That's good. And then I can defeat her Jinx and 3-shot the Lapras. Next up is Agatha. Earthquake and Surf still takes care of everything, so why don't we head on over to Lance. I do my infinite badge boost setup until I get to +4 defense, although my special stat is only 236, but I don't think that's gonna matter. I still outspeed everything, and everything's still a one-shot. Oh, apparently not the Dragonite, but thankfully all it does is use a pathetic slam, so I'm good. Alright, let's see how the champion goes. I defeat his Pidgeot with Ice Beam, I don't outspeed the Alakazam, it outspeeds me by 2 points. That is stupid. And now I am on the Rhydon. I try and set up some infinite badge boosts. Hopefully it keeps deciding to set up. Please stop using Fury Attack. And then once I get to +6, now I've got to go on the sweep. Rhydon goes down, Exeggutor goes down, Gyarados goes down, and the Charizard goes down as well, and I have done it. My now final time is 52 minutes and 10 seconds, with 4 resets at level 61, with a game time at the Hall of Fame of 2 hours and 28 minutes. So I've definitely improved in almost every category. I got a faster real time, faster game time, but 1 more reset than last time. I honestly blame that on some bad luck. I definitely got unlucky on Sabrina, but that 1 reset I had on Rival 6 was definitely my fault. I should have attempted to set up my badge boost for the Alakazam to outspeed it. But still, this Pokemon did really good. This is actually incredible. Blastoise has now taken first place on the leaderboard. It was roughly 39 seconds faster than Zapdos, faster game time, more resets too. So I think Zapdos is only slower just because of the slow leveling group. But still, Blastoise being faster is really impressive. Good job, Blastoise. You've definitely proved you're the best Kanto starter in Generation 1. Although my personal favorite is Charizard's 2nd place Venusaur, but that's besides the point. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to follow my socials or support me on Patreon or YouTube memberships. Links are down below. The next video for next week will be Breloom and Pokemon Emerald. I finally got the overlay working again. I had to move my whole overlay to a different version of the mapper that I used for GameHook. So, yeah, I will be able to get that out. Hope you all look forward to it. I will see you all in the next video.